Building champions in Raid Shadow Legends is not easy. I'm one of those players that has reached level 90 and I've been playing every day since the game has launched. With all those battles fought, I have a decent understanding on how to build certain champions, and with my resource management, efficiency approach, and budget builds in mind, I want to share what my champions look like after all this time in 2021. But before I get to that, here's a quick reminder on how you can support this channel for full-time content creation. I do play other gacha games, for example, Summoner's Glory, the only game that I know where you can actually help other players summon to get better drops. You can enter the promo code BGE during character creation to get free in-game loot. Or this other game that I can afford to play every day, and this one really feels like a mobile game because you have instant battles. You can enter the promo code Bionic before level 15 to get free in-game loot. All download links will be in the description and comment section. Today's champion build is going to be for Frozen Banshee. I've never made a dedicated build video on her, but today I want to cover the gear that I decided to put on her for, well, number one, clan boss, but also for the dungeons, mainly the dragon right now because we have the dragon tournament ongoing, or the speed frenzy gear, and I think she shines even more now that we have the higher stages, all right, the harder stages. So on dragon 24 specifically, if you tune her the right way, you can definitely speed up your run. Basically, she can solo the dragon, right? So I know you've probably seen this before, but I'm going to show you what it looks like on my account. You need to tune for this, and you might not have the proper damage output on your other champions to guarantee that this is going to be a fast run. So I also want to caution you guys to not try and go crazy trying to reach the fastest possible team, because that might end up in a lot of failed runs. Failed runs will mean less gear overall. So here's a quick overview of her kit. We already know this poison sensitivity. This we don't care too much about, and the poison on the A1 on each hit. Also an accuracy aura, which can come in pretty handy if you guys are lacking a little bit of accuracy on your gear overall. Here are her multipliers. We don't really care about her damage output. Of course, always having a little bit more damage, raw damage from her skills is good, but we mainly want her for the poison debuffs. And of course, this build will be available on my Google spreadsheet once it is done, along with all the other champions I've started covering in 2021. So the first run I want to cover with you guys is for Dragon 24 because we have the Speed Frenzy gear ongoing, and this is what I want to caution you guys about. If you try to go for these like no legendaries speed teams, which is great if you can afford to do it, if you have the stats for it, but chances are, like me, your seer here is not strong enough to pull this off. So if we bring in, let's say, Deacon Armstrong, because we talked about him yesterday, I think he's fantastic for this. You want more buffs, so you have Archmage Helmet, you reset the skills, then you have Seer to nuke the waves. Great, that is to deal with the waves. It should work again if you have the perfect gear on Seer or above a certain amount of crit damage with Savage gear. Then when you get to the boss, it's all about Frozen Banshee, and here it's all about reducing the animations, or literally letting your champions die. You want to have your champions be eliminated from the field except for Frozen Banshee, and then she can go on solo against the Dragon 24, and hopefully this will speed it up. She brings the poison sensitivity along with the poison debuff, therefore she has everything she needs, right, to handle this. So you literally do not need the other champions. Of course, you need her to heal herself, which is why obviously you can see she's in lifesteal. We're going to get back to her speed tuning for this to work properly, and also quickly talk about the other champions on how tough or not tough they need to be for this to happen as quickly as possible. But these champions for me are geared for other things in the game. I don't want to have to like take them apart and try and re-gear them to be a little bit squishier so that they die faster. And as you saw in the beginning, we missed killing some of the ads, all right? So we're going to fast forward to the end here to finish this one. As you'll see, it's 1 minute and 48 seconds. But in this run right here, we're going to see that it might not always play out in your favor. Simply because if you only rely on Deacon Armstrong, for example, or Tyrell, anybody else that brings the AoE decrease defense, and it doesn't land on one of the champions, you are stuck like this. It is going to take forever for you to get through these waves, and then your combo is going to be screwed up for the second wave, and this is where you risk losing a fight. I'm really lucky that on this one, I don't die from the Lurias on the two extremities where they're going to block revive. I still managed to make it to the boss with most of my champions up. I guess it's a good thing here that some of my champions are starting to die before I get to the boss, technically making the boss fight a little bit faster, but it's way longer for the waves and way riskier. So I would advise against that. All right, if you want to try and just go really fast and reach those, you know, minute runs, then perhaps not quite there yet for most of you guys, which is why I'm going to be staying away from that a little bit, or at least until these champions become either perfectly tuned for this and it's not worth the extra time, right? So we're going on 1 minute, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so 1 minute above our original run, and we almost die with our frozen banshees. So again, it's a little bit too tight with my current gear. So then, to ensure a better success rate, I decided to go back to our good old Lydia. If you have her, fantastic. If you don't, then I get it, you can try the other builds, but I think she's much safer here. All right, so we have also a AoE stun from Archmage Helmet, so definitely use him if you have this champion. But I'll also show you guys a run with Mausoleum Mage, which we all know is fantastic to work with Seer. So when you get to the boss here, it's going to take more time for you to die, right? These champions are technically tougher, so again, I would have to make them a little bit squishier. Archmage Helmet is strong affinity, therefore he's going to take some weak hits. It's going to take a long time for them to die. So overall, I'm dying too late in this for the run to be really fast, for me to be close to that 1 minute run. But again, I'd rather have a 100% success rate team than have a 75% success rate at a minute or 60 seconds, right? So basically same concept here. Slowly but surely we take down the boss. Also, Lydia is great for the extra poison sensitivity, so that you can always go for that A1 with Lydia. So I think that overall, this is, again, much safer. 1 minute and 30 seconds. So finally, here's the run with Mausoleum Mage instead. I thought maybe with this guy in, he's going to die faster than our Archmage Helmet. Maybe you don't need crowd control on the second wave if everything lines up. Don't forget, you have a ton of buffs, so either you get decreased defense or weaken. Your Seer should be able to nuke these waves for the most part, right? And then we get to the boss in about 18 seconds as well, right? So that's pretty constant across the two teams that I've tried so far. I just wanted to see if somehow with Mausoleum Mage we would die faster, but this guy has a heal, he has the increased defense, so we technically take even less damage. Again, you would have to tone down a lot of these champions to just be squishier. I suppose maybe removing one piece of gear here or there on some of them is an option, but for now I'm pretty happy with the fact that, you know, as they do everything else in this game, they work for this as well, right? So we're going to fast forward to the end here. Same concept, we kind of want Frozen Banshee to deal with the boss, but again, you see how my champions are still alive this late into the fight, so we're not exactly going as fast. We're going to go on about 1 minute and 45 seconds, I think. 1 minute and 44 seconds. All right, now let's talk about her gear and the tuning for all this to work with the other champions. Obviously, lifesteal, 2 pieces of speed for you to reach a decent amount of speed, and I tuned her for Ultra Nightmare at the same time. All right, so the defense is reasonable. I tried all the way up to 4,000 defense, as low as 3,500. 3,500 for this speed right here works just fine to somewhat solo the dragon, as you saw in one of the clips. So I'm gonna say this is perhaps a minimum of some kind. We have a debuff accuracy 250, which is again just fine for even the stage 24. She at 192 speed is technically still slower than our Seer. You want to save on 1 extra animation when you nuke the waves, therefore Seer is a little bit faster, and Seer also has Whirlwind of Death, which means that by the second wave she technically is definitely faster than our Frozen Banshee. So then overall, just go for like defense percent or HP percent, whatever I had lying around basically. So we have a lot of HP, I believe, on some of these pieces right here. That one right there, like, these are not great overall. They're kind of leftover. Well, this is good, but like leftover pieces, just whatever works, I guess. At this point, this is a priority number 2 champion on my account, so I'm not looking to gear her with the best possible gear. Speed boots with a lot of defense percent. I tried defense percent boots, but it was harder for me to reach the right amount of speed. Accuracy, defense, and defense. All the skills are obviously done. And then for the mastery, we have War Master. That's the most important. You do also really want to have a Master Hexer, and I suppose this could be optimized even more. But again, I didn't want to take her apart for, let's say, a potential clan boss team. And then as for other places where I use Frozen Banshee, basically nowhere else. At this point, she's a specialist for the Dragon 24. Again, I have an unkillable team for clan boss, or I would use a Cold Brawler because I have battle because are in a traditional counterattack 1-to-1 ratio clan boss team. So literally dungeons, the sorry, not spider, but dragon for the time being. Faction wars, I also don't even use her in here. I have other better champions to be able to do this as fast as possible. She could be in there, no problem. Arena, nobody really uses her there. Clan boss, Doom Tower, again, not really. So here's the stats summary on my Frozen Banshee. So priority number 2, like I just said, 192 speed. I would say also don't make her too slow. I suppose she could be under our Renegade, which is resetting the skills to maybe try and shave off a little bit more time there as well. But again, it doesn't matter all that much. So I wouldn't even say use number 1 as dungeons. I'm probably going to say just literally Dragon 24 or just Dragon overall as a specialist. So there you have it. That's the Frozen Banshee on my account with the bare minimum stats. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.